Well, the first thing is that the press conference was startling, even bizarre, in the sense that the meeting was expected to last maybe 6 hours and broke up after about three. Then the press conference was called very abruptly. The journalists race into the room. The uh, parties come on stage and speak their piece. Putin starts off, then Trump responds, and then they troop off. After a couple of minutes, they take no questions, and Putin gets on his airplane, flies away. And I don't think anyone quite expected a, a, a result like that. On the other hand, the words spoken were very friendly. Both Putin and Trump were encouraging about the future, but vague. And this is clearly the first step on what could be a long journey. Putin started off being very complimentary. He pointed out that there were 700 place names in Alaska that trace their roots to Russia, that there are Russian Orthodox churches in Alaska, and that in fact, the two islands that are closest together are only about 2 miles, 4 kilometers apart. So he said that we are really brothers. He also complimented Trump. He said that the war might not have happened under Trump and that it was Biden's fault. And this is something, of course, Trump has claimed. Uh, so he was flattering Trump. And Trump, in return, was very grateful, but cautious, which was reassuring. In the sense, he starts off by saying, there's no deal until there's a deal, and that there had been very good discussions, that those would continue. There were a few issues that needed to be finished, and one big issue, he didn't say what it was. I suspect it was about territory and about territorial swaps. So, not clear what the next step is. Another encouraging thing was Trump saying that the Europeans and Ukraine, President Zelensky, had to be part of this agreement. And that had not come through quite clearly, again, about a week ago. The concern is that the pressure will go on to Zelensky to give up territory, to make an end to the conflict and get it over with, as Trump would say. The Ukrainians are very reluctant to give up territory. Now they're in a tough spot because the Russians occupy about 16% of Ukraine. They're increasing that. They think they're winning. And Ukraine really has no theory of victory about how they're going to get the Russians out. So claiming that they will only accept a complete Russian withdrawal is just not realistic, unfortunately. I think they will resist giving up any additional territory. Another thing we should keep in mind is that these negotiations can sometimes go on for a long time. The negotiations to end the wars in Korea and Vietnam went on literally for years while the fighting also went on. So the fact that we've taken a first step is encouraging, but there are so many details to work out that it might just take a long time before there's any deal announced.
Jelajahi cara baru mendapatkan informasi. Download Metro TV Extend sekarang.